Cool. Live IB. Interesting. That'll help. Alright. So, am I nice and loud? I could be louder. Let's add a little bit. Actually, I have a compressor on, so I can just do my gain through here. Boop, boop, boop. Testing. Testing 1, 2. Actually, I feel like I should probably use a separate dedicated thing for that. And we'll just make myself a little bit louder. I can actually just keep making it louder and louder, apparently. I'm not sure it's doing much. Testing 1, 2? Testing 1, 2. Okay. It works. Let's make myself a little bit louder so I can compete. Hello. Do I sound? How do I sound? Oops, not new. Task more regional map. Good sound. Oops. I see you're over in Twitch. So there's definitely some things I can do in here to make this look a little nicer. Like this guy. Don't know. Can I? Interesting, interesting. Can I delete this somehow? Oh, I did. I can line that up so it doesn't look as janky. I'll have to fix these with some bridges. I guess let me add a few things. So, here's some bridges. Looks pretty good, actually. I want to use this bridge. Ooh, it's so small and good. So, scale. Is this the scale? And that's probably pretty good. And then I can go into here. And I can maybe or maybe not make this merge. Ah, that works. And then this guy I think just needs that to happen. So maybe we can delete that one and then add another one or something. How did I do that? Pretty good. Awkward little bend there, though. Not a huge fan of that. Ah, here we go. I can change it like that. Starting to figure out how this works. So that's one bridge. That looks a little awkward, but whatever. And then if I copy that guy and take it over here, there it is. It's way down there. Then I can. There it is. Every single angle counts as a change. I can do that across that nice handy dandy thing there. And then I can go into paths. And I can try to make this, delete that one entirely. Maybe then. Yeah, I'm very confused by how this works exactly. But got it to where it needs to be. Hello. Oh no! Bad, apparently. uh, my software just crashed. Why'd it do that? Very interesting and not too great. I'm working on finishing a basic regional map. I've been making a lot of changes. Also, how's it going for you? Let's see if it saved any of that. It didn't, but that's okay. I had barely done anything. It actually could crash pretty fast. Yeah, well, I'm making quite a lot of changes. For one, I think I've decided that Duskmoor should actually be um in the Amaranth Kingdom. Hold on, people. The stream is confused because there's no sound from Discord, which is weird because it's actually usually hard to turn Discord off. So, audio output capture, that's going to be it. Boom. So that should work. Which is also something I need to make sure I have as a backup. It's one of my multiple levels of redundancy during the mainstream. Yeah, so I've decided that I think it should be in the Duskmoor area. And with that realization comes many things. Um, like it's a sorry, that Duskmoor should be in the Amaranth Kingdom. That's what I'm trying to say, and that's a big deal because it's a whole different like country, but also because it's a different habitat. So what I had in pick, I went on a drive when I was out of town last weekend. Um, I was in Sedona, and doing that drive, I kept seeing what I realized was like what I had. It was it was the habitat that I had originally intended Mill Shrine to look like. And seeing it, I was just like, yeah, I feel like this is more what it should look like. And part of that was it's meant to be a little more deserty, I guess. So I was I had just kind of gotten a little bit I guess in my head about how I felt like there should be like a forest or trees or whatever. And fortunately, that part of the country is actually relatively forested, you know? relatively. It's not super forested, but it has trees. That's the point. So I think I can make that go. Also, did the Discord stream break since the software crashed? Let me. Oh, right. I never actually got the Discord stream started because I wanted to. Well, I guess I can just stream the actual software. I was gonna have like my camera and stuff. Okay. I'm gonna save after every single one of these little things because it seems it crashed while I was messing with the paths, so it doesn't. It seems like it might not like paths very much. But yeah, so I've been working on this a bit. Been working with a new map making software that I feel like I like a lot better. I think it's probably just a much better software overall than what I was using. Although the paths are being a little harder to deal with, but I think the map looks better in general. Also, it can do things like this, where like I don't actually like how those paths look. I think they're far too, I don't know, red. So I should be able to try to figure out how to do this, I guess. How to... What? Okay, I'm clearly not knowing what's going on here. I need to like... Oh no, that only applies to new ones. That's the issue, but maybe I can do this? And then I can do that. Well, might have a tutorial ahead of me for that. I'm not sure why that's not. Uh, can I not change? I can change that if I select a single one. Oh, maybe I just wasn't changing it enough. Okay, I can see a very slight difference maybe if I go ahead and select all of these and then there we go. I do like this, that I can more easily like alter the look of everything. More significantly. So like there's that, but maybe I can change like, you know what? That actually does look better. I like that quite a bit. What do you think? Yeah, I think that does effectively accomplish what I was trying to do, which was trying to make it less uh I don't know, less oops, apparent, less obvious looking. What's weird is that I don't seem to be able to like easily shorten it. I'm not really sure exactly how this uh path tool works. Hopefully I'll get more used to it as time goes on, but that works. Because if I also, I'm starting to get used to it. Because if I want to make it a little more windy. How's the? Oh yeah, so your finals week is next week, and that is also you have Monday off, right? It's kind of a weird finals week having the Monday off right before it. Oh, but usually Friday's off. Cool. Do you feel like doing some gaming today? I was planning to do that after I finish this map stuff. I just wanted to try and get this done. So what I'm gonna do? Oh, here's Millshrine, by the way. I think I figured out where it's gonna be. I'm also gonna be changing the geography of Millshrine a little bit, but so this star will be Duskmore, and also this is like the whole country. So it's a large country. It's hmm, I don't know, probably Texas sized or something. Or actually, what I was using in my head, countries aren't that big. It's like Arizona size because I was thinking like Spain or Germany, but those are basically the size of Arizona. Maybe a little bigger than Arizona. Not sure exactly how big, but it's not small. So this is a large area. So Mill Shrine's probably, man, I don't know what we'd call that. Like 50 miles, 30 miles, 30 to 50 miles away. Probably about 30 miles away. But this should be where it is. Way up here. I also decided to make Duskmore more northern. I thought it made sense because its whole gimmick is supposed to be that it's the city of roads. Like roads from everywhere come by and they meet here in the middle. Um, and so I thought it made more sense having it being in a country that isn't waterlocked on two sides. It's only this southern side. I opted to not include that because it was kind of confusing me spacing wise. But essentially, the ocean would start like right at the bottom here. I didn't want to deal with the coastlines and stuff though. But yeah. Oh. Also, is my desktop audio working? Let's try doing that. Oh! That's bad. That's very bad. Why did that happen? Uh. Okay, so part of the reason I'm doing this stream is also because it's troubleshooting practice for the regular stream. I don't know why I got like horrible feedback there. Ah! Okay. I need to figure out what the heck's up with that. What if I just do this? Hopefully that won't be horrible. No, it's just not recording it. Very interesting. Maybe I can record things through a different source. What is this? Audio output capture. I guess it doesn't really matter either way. It's the source that's the issue. So if it... Yeah, that's wild that it did that. Well, yeah, that's weird. Definitely an issue I've not encountered before. Yep. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. And unfortunate. How did I used to captured it with who captured? I swear it was just the desktop audio. Huh. Well, that's unfortunate. I guess this stream will just be a little confusing, but I don't know how to fix that. Like it is just a redundancy, but like it's a redundancy I like to have. Why is it like if I had this redundancy in place, then we wouldn't have lost Nolan's audio for that one episode. That's
Uh,
actually that's what caused me to add this in. Just another way of recording the audio. So we have like 4 ways of recording it, so they shouldn't have that issue. But maybe if I turn off this? The only thing I can think of is that I added gain onto my mic because everyone else's mic was so much louder than mine in the stream. So if I try, I'm like scared to try this because it's been uh screeching. Yep. Okay. Well, yeah. The second literally any sound comes out of the why? That just doesn't make any sense. As soon as any sound at all comes out of the desktop, it starts doing feedback. I don't I don't know what would cause that. Huh. Weird. That really sucks. Well, anyway, I did most of this yesterday. Was it yesterday? I actually don't even remember when I did this. Wow. Days already blurring together. I think it was yesterday. But today I just wanted to do a little bit of polishing and then add color. Oh, here we go. Here's one of the things I was missing. So I wanted to add a hmm, waterfall. There we go. I wanted to add a little waterfall here. I thought that would be nice. That one looks like it fits the bill really well, actually. So I should be able to like then if I do like +1 layer. How do can I not scale it up in a smoother way though? Surely there's a smoother way to scale. Huh. Very interesting. Ooh, okay. Well, that seems to work. Ah, well, okay. So, yeah, I'm definitely running into some like iffy things in this. Like, why can't I easily change the scale after putting it down? But it seems to be better. I have more do I have more control over it? Can I do like 12? I mean, that seems decent, I think. And then I can pop that up 1 layer. I don't know. But, so the plan was to do this, to figure out where everything is. And then once I've figured out where everything is, I'm gonna zoom in and I'm gonna remake a regional map that's like that or something, like nice and zoomed in. And yeah. Do you feel like learning Horn this weekend? Night
Mm.
Rain comes out in a week. Oh, it's crazy. Let's see.
I could give it a try.
I mean, if you don't feel like it, you don't have to. It's just offering because
Mm.
I was intending my plans are to try and do a good amount of Rise this weekend, but that's kind of my last until the next update comes out. That's kind of my last Wilds goal is just doing that with you. But obviously, an update will be coming out fairly soon that should make the game a lot more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So if I find that map that I had already sent you guys, which where did I put that? Was that in the
It was
Pixelcast
in
chat?
the cat. Yeah.
So I'd sent you. Yeah, here we go. So the Lake of Ruin. I really like that. I like that. I like the river. I like a lot of that stuff. And so a little bit of lore stuff here is the Lake of Ruin, the River of Ruin. The reason it's called that stuff is because that is a river that um was created when Dessel like was invading the land millennia ago and was like leaving a wake of destruction. So that was like a path that Titan essentially took um on their way to like destroy Duskmore. And the river or sorry, the lake was actually formed by I don't want to tell you too much because it'd be fun to discover it, but basically that stuff's like tied to that. So it should be relatively close. Like the Lake of Ruin is probably is over here, which kind of sucks because that means if it's over here, it means you're probably not actually going to be interacting with that lake. Um, I feel like it's probably somewhere around here. What the heck? That's not where I had that. What's going on with my cursor? It's like super far below. I mean, I can just make one, but I wanted one with like a nice little island. I guess I'll just do that. What is going on? Okay, good enough. I was praising this software, and now it's like trying to do everything it can to make me change my mind. What is. Okay, we'll pop that little rise kind of thing there. It might even go out a little bit that way. Um, yeah. Oops. But what's up with you?
Mm. Cool. It's a little island.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Uh, I need like some sort of ruins, some sort of. Yeah, that's not bad.
Interesting. In Oblivion, there's like signs leading to the different major cities. I just noticed on the Kvatch one, there's like claw marks on it. I wonder if that's a little nod that when I get to it, it's going to be destroyed.
Do you know? I guess you do know because it's a remake or
Hmm.
remaster.
Yeah, you come across the destroyed Kvatch really early in the main story.
What in the world's going on with this? Why is this a different color? Huh.
Let's see.
Very interesting. Well, there will be much to figure out regarding this. Oh, that's a little small. Yeah, there we go. That's more what I was looking for. Get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Cool. So that's probably going to be the Lake of Ruin. And so if that is, in fact, the Lake of Ruin, then I think this water, this river, would end up being wider than it is. Maybe not a whole lot wider, but definitely wider than it currently is. Because there'd be more. And then this would, I suppose, be the River of Ruin, which makes more sense, but is unfortunate because I kind of wanted to feature that in the game. And that would mean it's pretty far away. So I'll have to figure out something else, the different location to do that with. Cool. Because yeah, you guys just have this little one. Trying to figure out where I might be able to send you for that without it being super far away. These are the things I'm trying to figure. Also, like, where is Market Town? That's the other thing. So I think Market Town is probably over here. I actually like that a lot. I like the idea of it being in this um land. So I want like some sort of city thing. Or yeah, I guess that's what I'm gonna be using. So Interesting. I guess I didn't save the color that I had for Mill Shrine. I liked it being a little more like visible. So we're gonna go boop. And I wonder if this green might look like a better green. I think so. Or should it just be the same color? Maybe it should be like a red. I want it to just stand out more being a capital. But red might be a better option. So this might also want to be a little bigger. Like maybe a city, maybe the inner dot of a city is the size of a town. That's probably about what I should do. Probably something like that. And then it only makes sense that Raven Hill is probably this hill. So probably another one right here would make sense. Like that's probably the city of Ravenhill. Which does actually technically make Millshrine closer to Market Town, which is reasonable. That would explain why Market Town's leader shows so much interest in that town if it's that close. Because the idea, the story is that Millshrine used to be just a little bit off the main road, right? Like it used to be a draw that people would go there, take a little bit of a detour. In fact, I should probably make a little path that's kind of showing that. So it's probably something like make it nice and small. Not too small though. Something like that. And then it probably joined up right there. Except I don't like how when they meet each other, it kind of, there we go. And I could also potentially make this guy a little different looking, like, I don't know. What is that supposed to represent? It looks kind of cool, but I don't really know what it is. Or I could do little dots. I think I should do little dots for the smaller paths, maybe. What do you think? Little
Yeah,
dots
that
good?
looks good.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then we gotta go like that a little bit. Okay, so that's how Millshrine would have been. But instead, and it still is, so that road's still there. So that would have been like a detour. So that's a little bit longer of a road, or it's not even necessarily longer so much as it goes away from the river, right? So it makes sense that people would want to stick close to the river. So people used to go split off from the path, go that direction. This should honestly probably be a little bit more of a like that kind of branch off. And then Market Town became more appealing. So it also would have had something similar to this. It would have been a town. See, I was actually envisioning the main road almost going through Market Town is the thing, though. And maybe it does. Maybe Market Town's a little more this direction, or maybe the path
What
would.
exactly is that, like, right up north of Market Town?
This is like a ridge, like a hill. So like this whole
Okay.
area is one big hill,
Do you think
like a
maybe
cliff,
like a
I guess.
path was made going up the hill, making that an easier route? So it's kind of like a shortcut.
Possibly. Possibly. Or another option would be, don't know why I didn't think of this. I just liked this spot. That looks like a really cool spot. But another option could be Market Town being like here or something. Like it could just be right there. Although it is supposed to be more like directly competing with the path. So yeah, maybe it did look like this, and there could be some sort of yeah, because if it got big enough, then people would be willing to stray from the river. So it could be something like uh even if there was a path or like technically a path going like up a cliff, it would likely be significantly easier, especially for merchants with like horses and stuff, to take the low road. But let's try and it's really wanting to squirm and worm. There we go. Like that's probably good. If we say that it yeah, it's a little detour. So it goes away from the main river, but also I'm starting to think that this may be a little too small. Maybe this can be increased a little bit. There we go. And then this should also probably be decreased a little bit. Yeah. Still clearly a larger path, but it's less obvious. Cool. So that works okay. And then yeah, Ravenhill will be way over here. And then maybe because I don't really want to have a bunch of towns to go to. That's kind of intentional because it's just a lot of extra characters I have to make for no real reason, a lot of stuff. Especially since if you're supposed to be helping this local town, it doesn't make sense to be running to a bunch of other towns, right? Like I'm trying to make Millshrine more the focus. So I don't want to put stuff like I guess you're not really supposed to go to Ravenhill, but I do have a couple things that I had in mind that um would be nice. Um like I want other points of interest, I guess, essentially. And one of those points of interest is meant to be, if I go back to the map that I sent you, so there's a little ruined lookout that I do want to be relatively nearby. And I was kind of picturing that in the forest. So that would probably be then probably gonna have to use this like the same, which is fine. That's just consistent. Just gonna use the same little thing and put like a little ruined lookout. I mean, honestly, it actually probably is up here. That makes more sense. It would be if it's a lookout, they'd want it to be on this like ridge, not not necessarily uh out in the woods somewhere. So it would technically be over here, which is still. So that makes a little bit of sense. That's like unless we put another ridge over here, I could put another ridge over here. Like, especially since it is going from a mountain. Like, there are mountains over there, so it could make sense if this was a little bit higher. Still. So I could do something like that. And then that gives a little bit more of a. And then if I grab another, like, thing, I can use that to similarly kind of express like, hey, this area is a little bit higher up because it is near the mountains. It's like I said, I imagine this being like kind of Sedona-y, like south of Flagstaff-y kind of appearance. So it
Mm-hmm.
would make sense if there's just, it's I tried to make it so there's a bunch of like hills and stuff everywhere. So it could make sense if there's a few more little ridges here. And then the tower, because I wanted it to be close, but not like super close. Tower could be like right here. And that would actually be a really good spot for a lookout. I think that looks a little more interesting as well. I can move that tree to like kind of cover that a bit. So that looks okay. So that's probably where the ruined lookout will be. Um, as for the weird stuff happening, I want it to be at some sort of lake. And I guess there could be a river coming out from here. That would make sense. So, some kind of small lake. Small lake. Something like that. Probably a good size. Maybe. Let's figure out where the rivers are going first. So, if I make a little river, because we need. So, I've established that this is indeed a bit of a ridgy thing. So we could get the river going in through like over here. Or it could wrap around. Hard to say which would make more sense for this area. Actually, okay, I think there can be a smaller river coming from this mountain source. And it's more of a stream, right? I guess it's technically a river, but it's like a bit of a stream. And it would probably flow. I mean, it would make sense. That mill shrine. I don't know. The river should flow like really close to mill shrine, huh? In theory, so that they'd have a good water supply. I'm not really sure. See, this is the issue with growing up in a desert. I'm not really sure like how common streams are in just like everyday life, or even where they come from. I guess just tiny little mini ridges would be where they come from. Because this could flow. I mean, it could flow down. I'm not sure. This is the stuff that kind of matters, huh? Because what I was thinking for the larger river, is that there could be like a nice sizable river that comes from this mountain here and would probably serve as a water source for the Raven Hill. In fact, maybe this could be the same river. I can actually see this, or it could flow into the main river, but I could totally see this flowing like past Millshrine, maybe. Maybe. Here's a question that I have no idea if you know or not.
Hmm.
Are rivers coming from lakes necessarily larger than the rivers that are feeding into the lake?
I do not know.
Yeah, I don't know that either, unfortunately. Hmm. Yes, difficult indeed. Like, has every town been built next to a river? Like, throughout history? More or less every town? I don't know where they would get their
Very,
water
very
otherwise.
common.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
and there's tons of towns, so I don't know. I just don't know where all of those rivers come from. So maybe we could have this little stream. Because it's also not necessarily running, it's not like it's running through the town. It would just be, it would need to be somewhat close, I guess. I don't actually know. Is there normally a river in town, or would people just run off well water? I'm not sure about that, unfortunately. Huh. Because yeah, I'm trying to figure out where this lake could be that I want you guys to go to. And I had obviously before envisioned it like to the north. It doesn't necessarily have to be to the north, but it should be a place that makes some sense. This is actually taking quite a bit longer than I intended because I was intending to do some um just like coloring today, but now I'm like trying to figure out how this even works. Need some kind of opening like that. Something similar. Oh, mine. Interesting. Not quite what I was looking for. Hmm. Let's see. Maybe I can Google this. Like, where does a small town get water if no well? Or I guess historically. I'm really curious about that. I mean, huh.
oh,
Springs. Oh, right, springs. Oh my gosh, that's even where the water from my hometown comes from. I was picturing the stream that like supplied the water to our town, and totally spaced that it comes from a spring. Springs are where that comes from. Springs. Okay. Also, come to think of it, um, this tower would have been of Endu creation, and so they likely actually did have some sort of water source coming from it that could actually be repurposed to feed the town. Yes. And then it would make sense that the path that they're following also uh, would have been because of that. Although I feel like what I should do, rather than changing that river, I should probably change the path itself to reflect the river. So that's likely where that came from. And then I can go back to this whole thing and then how I was kind of picturing it, have this larger river kind of flow in this direction and probably join up with this river. Maybe. Actually, it probably wouldn't, would it? It would probably go this way. Especially because I am trying to make this area, this general area, be more of a um, desert. So we want the water to be flowing like into that to help keep this area more desert-ish. And I feel like this is starting to come around a little bit. And then this would also allow there to be some sort of lake. Just because there happens to be a dip. You know, like there doesn't have to be a real reason for it, it's just a lake. Small little lake. Maybe there. And that feeds into the River of Ruin. Or I guess this is technically the River. Or maybe this would be it. Actually, that's a good point. The River of Ruin would be more of a straight line. That would be a pretty iconic tell of it. It should be going more or less straight. Oh no, that's right. Oh no, okay, so there's the ruin. Hold on. I have more to that map that I didn't actually show you guys, and I need to go find that map so I can see, because that was the zoomed in version. I have like a more or less um full country version of that map that is being kind of set aside. So yeah, Lavender Kingdom right here. I mean, that map did look pretty good. Yeah, I did not do too badly with this. I mean, it's definitely unfinished, but I'm just gonna send you a screenshot of how good this was looking, or screenshot, or if I could just full screen this. There we go. So this is what I had been working on for the Lavender Kingdom. And who knows, maybe I will hop back to this. Sort of world building's probably going to be a lot of back and forth, but that is what I had. And you simply had, I mean, you can tell I put a lot more effort into the immediate area around where I took that picture, but I think it looks pretty good. Right, the scar. This does look really good. Uh, my little brain might be burned out on this for now, honestly. Hmm,
No,
I know, right?
I got killed.
Well, that's how my brain feels right now. I think I need to take a break from this, honestly. It is becoming a bit too much. So,
Okay.
yeah, there's a lot. Because I'm looking at that map that I made, and I'm like, I feel like it does look really good. And there's definitely a lot of like world building going into there. And maybe that could still be. I just need to figure out the forestry, and I don't know. I don't know if I should. We might end up not having a regional map for this week. It's becoming a bit much. But for now, I shall end this stream. Farewell to anyone who tuned in. Sorry I wasn't able to figure it out, but alas, brain is shot.